Questions come at you and you have to defend yourself against the question. If you never learn to play that game, you'll never be able to play it. That's why everyone says, I've been studying this language, but I never learned to speak. In this video, I'm going to highlight the effect that a vertical upward Lingua Blocks format has versus a horizontal. Now, I'm not saying that horizontal is never good. In fact, this evolves into horizontal. But at the beginning, there's an effect that vertical has that I'm going to show you right now. A horizontal sentence, take Spanish for example, se te antoja un taco, basically means, are you in the mood for a taco? All right. The literal breakdown is itself to you, it appetizes a taco. Okay. Imagine that. It's impossible. So here's where people get screwed up, because they grapple with, what? And then it gets worse if you go, well, here's the deal. Se is a reflexive pronoun. Te is an indirect object pronoun. Antoja is present tense and indicative mood. Okay? Taco is a noun, and so on. That's even worse. Okay? So there's a solution to this. I'm going to show you the solution in a second. But listen to this point. When you're beginning to learn a language and you see it written horizontally, it gives the impression that you're supposed to play like a game of Pac-Man. You know the game of Pac-Man? He goes from left to right, trying to eat all the fruit. Language written horizontally gives the impression that what I'm supposed to be doing to learn this language is memorizing stuff. And that's the thing that makes people never get off the ground, because they think that you're supposed to memorize the language. Language written horizontally reinforces that idea that what I'm supposed to be doing is picking up the fruit, memorizing the words. Okay, now watch this difference. Instead of playing the Pac-Man memorize game, we're playing a first-person Space Invaders game. All right, we're changing the game. That's why it's a game changer. Questions come at you, and you have to defend yourself against the question. If you never learn to play that game, you'll never be able to play it. That's why everyone says, I've been studying this language, but I never learned to speak. Okay? So this tricky, it doesn't have to be tricky, but it could be tricky if the teacher says, se te antoja is reflexive pronoun, and all of this stuff. Look, se me antoja is my starting point. That's my leverage point. It's my pivot foot. I'm here. That's my controls. What do they call? That's my joystick. Okay, so here, itself to me, it appetizes a taco. If you can imagine what I'm saying. So, I really got a hankering for a taco now. Se me antoja un taco. Or maybe it's morning and se me antoja café. Actually, to tell you the truth, right now at the making of this video at 8:41 a.m. here in Mexico, se me antoja un café. And it could be XYZ. That's the interesting part, is the X. I mean, all of this, but the X is the variable. It could be anything. No, you could, if you un pan, like Mexican bread, like a concha, se me antoja una concha, or se me antoja un pan. Now, if I shift to offense and I'm the Space Invader, I'm like, question for you, se te antoja un taco? And you use this. So like if you're in real life and you want to turn to someone and say, hey, you feel like grabbing it, in the mood for a taco? Se antoja un taco? Or maybe se antoja un café? Okay? Also, if we switch this into the open-ended question, ¿Qué se te antoja? What are you in the mood for? Or however you like to translate. It doesn't matter how you translate. You don't have to translate. All right. ¿Qué se te antoja? Ahora, right now, se me antoja un taco. But not really. For me, if you ask me, Tony, ¿Qué se te antoja? It's vertical. By vertical, we mean face to face. This is memorizing something out there. This is us going back and forth, building reflex in the game of conversation. The thing that everyone doesn't get to and says, yeah, I studied language for 10 years but never learned to speak, because they never took it off the board and went direct into conversation. This vertical format makes it direct. Okay, so, ¿Qué se te antoja, Tony? I have to defend myself against that question. Se me antoja un café. And with that, I'm going to go get my café. Ciao.